I was hired by Berlin Police Department in July of 1995. I was 21 and I was super excited to work at a police department, see what it's all about. And my main thing was I wanted to help people. And I think that's why most of us get involved in public safety, is just because our strong desire to help people. My department, along with many others, especially in Connecticut and some other states, is run by a police department. So a communication center inside the police department is always run by a police sergeant, police lieutenant, which is wonderful, except for the fact that they don't always know what communications is doing. Not their fault. They've got their own jobs to do, but they don't really know how to guide you, how to help you fully in communications. That kind of gave me the desire after a few years of, I'm going to step up and I'm going to learn and I'm going to try to find out what I can do to help my own department. Many times, uh, I had had questions about the backside of like consoles and phones and radios. I was not technical in any of that. Like, I knew all about the 911 calls, I knew about how to help our community, but I didn't know all the technical things. And I definitely knew that unfortunately my sergeant didn't either, and he was my boss. So that kind of came to me looking out for training. I found APCO. I had found that there was a conference coming up and they weren't really sure. We never really spent a lot of money on training, especially conferences for communications. But I asked if I can go. And then shortly, like within a couple of days after that, I saw there was a scholarship and it was a fall training initiative scholarship. And that would allow that conference to be paid for by the scholarship. So they were giving one in every state. So I said, oh, okay, I have no idea how many people apply for this, but I'm in Connecticut. We cover 8 states. Connecticut's one of them. I'm going to apply for the scholarship. Right the day before I heard from the scholarship, I had heard from my department that we would send you, we just don't have the money. And we're really excited for you to go. We're excited for you to learn, but we just don't have the money. The very next day, I found out that I was awarded the scholarship. So they sent me and I was able to go. That was awesome. While I was at APCO, on the scholarship, I was so excited, but I made it my point, my initiative myself was to make sure that I found people that knew about radios, that knew about phones, something that I could learn from. I met a whole bunch of people and I was a little intimidated. I'm not going to lie. I was intimidated going into the exhibit hall because I wasn't buying anything. I was a line dispatcher. So I wasn't sure if they even wanted to talk to me, but I knew that they were the people who had all the answers to the questions that I had. So I walked around the exhibit hall, and honestly, they were so welcoming. They were wonderful. That was my first experience in the exhibit hall, talking to commercial members, and they were wonderful. It is definitely not, I learned right away, all about the buy and sell. It's about, what questions do you have? How can we help you? Sure, tell me about you. And I have made relationships that in 2014, from that scholarship that I got to go to the conference, I've made relationships that have lasted my entire career and we're still friends to this day. After going, I did learn some things and I brought them back to my agency. So they were excited. They were so excited about me being a part of APCO now. They kind of felt bad that they weren't able to pay for it, but the scholarships are huge. Right after that, I think it was the next year or the next 2 years, my department being so aware of how much APCO had provided, how much I researched more on learning about the things I needed to, how much the relationships that I made, not only commercial, but other people who quickly became mentors to me. APCO also has a PS Connect community, and I had reached out. There were so many questions that I read that had answers to that were my own questions as well. So it was incredible. my department was so proud of that that they put me in for Telecommunicator of the Year award for my chapter. And I received that award, which was such a huge honor. The fact that they, saw that I was working hard to try to better our agency. Um, the really wonderful thing about that is that our department was very close. Even though the guys didn't really know what we did, they, in the fact that I was learning so much and reaching out, they were kind of excited, especially the sergeant and lieutenant in charge of dispatch. They were excited to learn as well on my journey. So they were realizing that, hey, dispatch isn't a separate entity. They're really part of our family. And our department itself became a big family. Dispatch included, everyone was equal. So when I got this award, they felt that it was a win for our whole department. And we celebrated big, which felt so incredible. And it felt like a win for dispatch, not just for me. Um, the the conference at the time was in Albany, New York, and 20 of my sworn members of my department rented a limo bus and they took the 2 hour drive. They came up in Class A uniforms to celebrate that night with me. Um, it was amazing. And to this day, that is one of the best nights of my life. They came to celebrate. That's never happened before in our chapter's history because normally dispatch is kind of a separate entity. I was so proud of them because part of the reason they wanted to go there, yes, was to celebrate me. But part of the reason they wanted to go was to thank every dispatcher in that room because they had realized that it's something they didn't do in the past. And now they incorporated dispatch as being equals. And they wanted to make sure all those dispatchers knew that they were as equal in the public safety family as everybody else. So they thanked them, which for me was incredible. I was so proud of them. After that year, I definitely had the courage and I knew I was supported and celebrated. So I kept going on my journey. That made me so much stronger in who I was and in helping all dispatchers. I was asked to be the conference chair for Mystic in 2018. And all those relationships I had made with commercial members way back in 2014 from that scholarship, get into the conference, which really started everything for me. I called on them and they helped me immensely. They helped me with sponsorships, they helped me with ideas for our exhibit hall, they helped with anything that they could. Our associate members, our commercial members, we're just all a public safety family, and everyone helped out for me. I was so excited and blessed that I had all that help to make it a great conference. It was a great conference, it was wonderful. Right after that, I was thinking, you know what? I have all this support from all these friends, our whole public safety family, because I don't see the difference in commercial and associate member. We're all the same. We all need each other and we're all the same, reaching for the same goal. That I felt, okay, I have all this support. I'm going to do it and see what happens. And I ran to be first vice president. Um, and I got it. So that was exciting. It was so much to learn, even more, but I relied and counted on my friends and relationships that I had made. And that was the only reason how I got to become first vice president. My whole point was to make sure that I was working for our members. I wanted to learn what all the members had to say, and I wanted to make sure that I could work hard for them and make sure that their voices were heard and see that we can go forward. I felt that my department became a family with communications and public safety, and I wanted APCO Atlantic chapter to also become a family. I wanted everyone to feel that they were part of a family, part of APCO. If things weren't going well at your agency, there were other people in our chapter that could help you with issues that you had. There were other people you can lean on. If there was something you needed to learn, I want to make these connections within our chapter and say, hey, maybe this person can help you. If you need mentors, these people can help you. I just want our chapter to be there for each other. We were definitely able to do that. I ended up running for president-elect in 2020, which was an honor that I made it. I did get president-elect. That partnership, again, with the commercial members, really, I think that was the strongest year ever for us and for me. That I not only was it a relationship where I would ask questions and learn things and help them with things, this was an I need you request at that time. 2020, we obviously couldn't have our conference. It was COVID and no one was having conferences during the pandemic. We still have our chapter awards, and we were wondering, should we continue on with our chapter awards or should we just hold off and not do them? I strongly felt and fought for having one award for every member of our chapter. And I didn't know how I was going to do it because we have over 4,000 members, but I wanted to do something. So I needed ideas. I reached out to a couple of different members from all different areas and I said, I've got to do this. The board, not everyone on the board was in favor of it. Majority were. So because the majority was, I was able to reach out and try to get it done. I reached out to some associate members. I reached out to some commercial members and said, hey, can I have your ideas? Let's brainstorm. What can we do? And that's why we are all necessary together. We can put our minds together and get something done. The idea came up with, let's get a challenge coin. Our chapters never had a challenge coin. So we did a challenge coin and we were going to thank every single member and mail them out. So of course, my thought was, that's a great idea. I love it. Where are we going to get the money for that? And luckily, our commercial members said, hey, we're not just giving you an idea, we're going to support you because we stand with you. We stand by your side through all of this. And our companies have the money to donate to this idea. So without a day that had went by, we had already gotten several companies came and said, well, several of our commercial members asked their companies to say, hey, we stand by them. This is all of our fight and we're all in this together in our family of public safety. So can we please get some money to them so that we can get this done? And it was really a wonderful collaboration and we got it done. It was amazing. And every single one of our members, every single one of our members received an award, mailed them out, and I believe it would cost about $20,000 to do. And that was a lot. It was a lot of work. It was a lot of money, and it was necessary. And it was something where our entire public safety family came together, and I'm so proud of that. We all stand side by side together, and that's how we make this work. After in 2020, I obviously had some time, not really with work because work was crazy, as we all know, but that's part of the reason why we needed to recognize our members, because we were getting it handed to us every day and we were still showing up the next day to take care of our communities. I ended up applying for a scholarship and I took the registered public safety leader class and I did complete that and I became an RPL because I still wanted to learn. I wanted to learn more to how to help my department. I wanted to learn how to help this chapter succeed. After RPL, I applied for another scholarship and I went on to become a CPE, a certified public safety executive. I felt that I can learn even more for our chapter. I can learn even more for my department and for my public safety family and future. Very excited that I was able to get scholarships to complete those classes, because if not, I don't think I would have been able to do it on my own. At the time, especially with COVID, our department wasn't handing out a bunch of money, that's for sure. We didn't have it, and we didn't know what the pandemic was going to bring. So scholarships were huge so that I could be able to go. One thing I did realize is throughout my career, scholarships have been huge for me, because I would not have been able to do all of the things that was able to do if it weren't for scholarships. I think that everyone who's interested in something, and if your agency says no, or if it's something you think you have to pay for yourself, absolutely try to go out there and get a scholarship. Like myself, the very first one that I had that started it all for me came from my chapter. So I would say to first start at your chapter level, see at your chapter level what they're offering for scholarships. Most of them have scholarships. You would know that just by looking at your website or asking one of your board members. I'm sure that they're advertised quite a bit in your chapters. I know that the Atlantic chapter, advertising all of our we are advertising all of our scholarships. We also are having a new scholarship come out this year, which I'm very proud to represent at our conference, and it's going to be the Rich Betcher Scholarship. Rich was an amazing man and provided so much in the APCO organization. We were lucky to have him as a member of our chapter, and we're going to, in his honor, provide a scholarship for our members for the RPL program, which he had a hand in creating. We also have the Blesso Scholarship in our chapter, and I know that many other chapters have scholarships as well. APCO International also has scholarships. So if you're looking for the RPL, they have a scholarship that you can get from them. When you do read all of the information online for RPL, Registered Public Safety Leader, it will be right in that information where you can apply for scholarships. There's the Silent Key scholarships. For CPE, they also have a specific CPE, Certified Public Safety Executive Scholarship, and they also have the Silent Key scholarships that can go along with them. To be honest, without those scholarships, I would not have been able to continue on and keep growing for myself, for my agency, and for my chapter.